Welcome to opticstrade debates. My name is Dylan.
My name is Theodore. Hello.
Hello, Theodore. Today we're discussing click values on Aimpoint Hunter series. Why we're doing these debates is because we're getting a lot of questions about click values and specific questions about all devices we sell. But today specifically we're talking about the Aimpoint Hunter, obviously. So maybe let's start with the most simple question. And can you tell us a little bit about the click values on these Hunter devices?
So basically, with all the Aimpoints, it was always quite confusing when it came to click values because each series has completely different click value and usually very uncommon ones. So we know that some have 16 centimeters on 100 meters and so on. But with Hunters, it's a little bit easier because their click value is 2 centimeters per 100 meters per click. So that means when you apply one click, the bullet impact will move for 2 centimeters. If you apply 10 clicks, it means that the bullet impact will move on a target for 20 centimeters. So it's a little bit easier and I would say nicer for European users because 2 centimeters is, we all know how to I would say, to see 2 centimeters and to
it
have
sort
a
of
feel.
unifies with other devices that we sell, like other manufacturers as well. All right, so maybe one question that is sort of funny for someone, but for someone that might actually help is what even is click value?
Exactly, it's just when you apply one click, how much the bullet impact will move, and that means if you apply one click upwards, up, it usually says on a device, that means how much will the bullet impact move, and in this regard it means 2 centimeters. Usually with all other optics it's 1 centimeter per 100 meters, but this is with magnified optics. With red dot sights they have different click values, but with Hunter series it's really easy, 2 centimeters per one click.
All right.
What's also interesting is that the Aimpoint gives you zeroing targets for all their models. You're able to download these targets either from our webpage or directly from Aimpoint. And they have these squares on the target which gives you exact click values. So here it says 10 millimeter square equals 2 clicks at 25 meters. It equals 1 click at 50 meters. And then 2 squares equal 1 click per 100 meters. So it's really, really easy to zero this red dot sights with this target.
It really just comes down to counting the squares, so
exactly.
It couldn't be any more simpler, which is funny since the system is so complex itself, but Aimpoint found a way to make it a bit easier.
I also presume that they are printing these targets because of all other red dot sights made by Aimpoint which have very unusual click values, because Hunter is one of the easiest one to zero because the click value is 2 centimeters, so it's really easy for a European user to imagine 2 centimeters on 100 meters.
All right, so maybe let's stop for a second to discuss tools. Do you need any tools to apply click values or to apply clicks?
You have two options because these turrets on Hunters are basically the same as you're able to find on micro devices. So that means that they have 2 small protrusions or 2 small holes on the turrets where you need to put these 2 pins on it. And both of the turret caps on Hunters come with these 2 pins, so you're able to put the pins in, and then inside you also see the writing in which direction you need to apply clicks for moving the bullet impact up. So it's counterclockwise. So counterclockwise you are moving the bullet impact up, and you can see, you heard that all the clicks are really audible.
Yeah, you hear it and it sounds
and nicely tactile. Really, really nice. So one option is you unscrew the cap and then you use the pins on the cap. The other option is there is a standard Aimpoint tool provided with each Hunter red dot sights. Again, on top of the tool there are 2 pins. You put them in and then you just count the clicks, how many you need, and apply them so that you get a zeroing setting.
But it's quite common that people lose these caps and the tools, so you can order them at opticstrade website, so don't worry about that.
You are always able to get spares.
Yeah. What about the Windage and Elevation range?
Well, like with majority of Aimpoint sights, in the manual they say that they provide more than plus and minus 1 meter of elevation and windage. That means 2 meter by 2 meter box where you're able to move the red dot. So in more tactile terms that would be 20 mils or 20 mRADs of elevation and 20 MRADs of windage. More than enough, because you usually almost never shoot long range with red dot sights, and 2 meters by 2 meters is more than enough of adjustment range for 100-meter shooting distance.
Right. So another question that we get often, actually no, not actually, I'm lying actually, because we don't get this question often, but we do regard it because we get them for other devices, and it regards to the troubleshooting the issues. Are there any known issues with click values for Aimpoint devices?
Not really. I would say the issue is more on the user side, so usually there are 3 issues, if I would say. With some Aimpoint sites, the click values are quite uncommon and people are not so comfortable with them. The Hunter is not in this category because 2 centimeters, like we said, it's easy. The second issue is that people apply too many clicks at the start before they're starting to shoot, and then they have a small target at 100 meters, let's say, just a 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters target, and they shoot the first shot and there is nowhere in the target, so there is somewhere outside of the target. My advice in this situation would be go closer to the target. Start at 10 meters to put a first shot so that you see where you are, and then do a rough zeroing just at 10 meters and then move further 25, 50, 100, 75. It depends what you prefer. I usually zero this Hunter series at 100 meters. In perfect conditions, it's not a problem. You just decrease the illumination level a little bit. If you have a good stand in good conditions, you are able to zero them at 100 meters, even though these optics are completely without magnification. So, like I said, the second issue, if you don't have a bullet impact in your target at 100 meters, go closer. And then the third one you already mentioned, you lost both of these 2 caps and the tool. It's really hard to do the zeroing without any tools, so I would suggest go back home from the range, buy spare ones, and then go back and do the zeroing.
All right. So I think we covered pretty much all of it. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, if we forgot something, please use the comments below, send us an email, call us, get in touch. Anyway,
and thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you and see you in the next video.